Hi, this is Linda Brubaker, and I'm a job search coach, and I'm here today with Laurie Oken. And Laurie, we're going to talk a little bit about your resume. But before we do, tell me a little bit about what kinds of things you're looking for. What's your elevator pitch?
Well, thank you, Linda, for inviting me today. I am, a little bit about myself. I come from a diverse background. I started in for-profit, but then as soon as I landed in the nonprofit sector, it was a home run. I found that my skill set working with volunteers and learning the ropes of the nonprofit industry really just hit a really vested interest with me. For instance, one of my companies, they let me skip from department to department, from finance to legal to marketing to governance, and I absorbed all these different skills. And when I moved to the leadership development department, I was in charge of many programs, products, and services, and found that my strengths of relationship building, communication, and collaboration while working with leaders, 6,000 people nationwide, really came in handy. So right now, I know the Olympics is going on. So imagine planning an event like that. No, I didn't do anything that large, but on smaller scales, anytime the committee or the board of directors wanted something to be executed, Laurie Oken was Johnny on the spot. And I was always the behind the scenes person that you never saw, never was talked about, but I worked with those leaders and volunteer leaders to get the job done and executed a mini Olympics. So that's my that's what I did, and I was loving it every minute. And that's what I want to do for another organization: is execute, work with your board, work with your committees, and execute your next version in alignment with your strategic plan of how I can best help your organization and make your organization shine.
That sounds great. And I love the comparison to the Olympics, by the way. It's a great story. I might add that. Okay, let's start talking about your resume.
Perfect.
Okay, so hopefully you can see it.
Yes.
So a couple of things just to start with, Laurie, since we're just doing this relatively quickly. Um, you've got color on here. Now remember, I'm reading it online. If I'm printing it out, I'm printing it out in black and white.
Yes.
Okay, which means that your color is going to show up as a shade of gray,
Okay.
which may or may not be there. And reading it on screen, it is not as, I won't say it's distracting, you don't have that much of it, but it's not as easy to read per se as the letters in black. What I would recommend is, instead of using the color, because we're not using the color to make your resume stand out anymore. It's not like I've got this whole stack of resumes. I'm going to try and find yours. We're using this as a way of really helping to make it easy for what I call the dummy on my side of the desk, or the screen, okay, to read it and find it and see it. So my recommendation would be that instead of using the color, you go back to the black. The bold is fine, but that I might make those headings larger. Okay.
Which headings are you referring to?
Like that, professional experience.
Okay.
Okay. You're using
Gotcha.
the color there as a way of trying to separate what you do. Okay. And just give me those separations in the resume. It's easier from the standpoint of somebody who's read lots of resumes for you to use the larger type. Okay. Make it larger. If you want to center it the same way you did your program manager, you can. It's absolutely not necessary. But doing that helps to make it visually that break that you're looking for without the color. You can keep the color if you choose to.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right. Up here in your contact information, since you sent me as a PDF, I can't tell for some of this. I'm hoping that your email address and your LinkedIn URL are clickable links.
Yeah. That's a clickable link.
Perfect. Okay. The way that you got all this information running together, okay, you use those what are called vertical pips in between your points of contact. Again, if I'm doing this for the purpose of not only making sure that it gets read by that applicant tracking system, that computerized database, okay, but also from my eye, you want to make it as easy for me as possible. I highly recommend taking out those pips, those vertical lines, and instead of that, inserting extra white space.
Okay.
Okay, so that it's easy for me to see and read and find. If, for example, your LinkedIn URL makes it too long for you to see it, type in the word LinkedIn and then use the tool to make that into a clickable link to refer it back. So it's type in the word LinkedIn, Control K, highlight it, Control K. In the reference point, where do you want to send it? Type in your URL. Then the word LinkedIn becomes the clickable link, and you don't have that whole long string. Okay. For purposes of the resume, as well as, again, human eye, it's 312 dash, not 312 dot.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. Okay. You want this to be read by older applicant tracking systems as well as all the new ones.
Right.
The new ones aren't going to have a problem with this, but some of the older ones, and there are over 500 applicant tracking systems out there. Okay. My feeling is always format it for the oldest because you don't know what's out there. But some of the older systems see that line that goes all the way across the page, Laurie, and say end of page or end of document.
Mm-hmm.
So be careful with that. Again, I'm a fan of white space.
Yep.
All right. Where you're labeling the resume, this is not what you want to be. This is the title for whatever the job is.
Right. No, I do that. I always change that to the title of the job that I'm applying for. Like education manager, governance manager, specialist, whatever.
And that's fine. And I'm assuming that you're doing this as well, because this is program manager and this says association manager.
Okay, so those two should match.
Remember, I want this, as far as I'm concerned, on my side of the desk or the screen. I want to know that you're interested in my job and only my job.
Okay. All right, gotcha.
The word accomplished and any of the other adjectives that you're using is also problematic in a resume. Every time you're saying some of those words, number one, it's extra fluff.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're saying that, then I want to be able to find someplace quickly what you're using to back that up.
Okay.
Okay. The summary statement up top, again, everything there needs to match new job. But my guess is you're pretty good with that. Every time you're talking about things like career track record,
Right.
I need to be able to go back and find that quickly. When we're talking skills overview, take out those pips again, tab them across the page. The best approach is to put them as so that they look as though they're in 3 columns, but they're not. They're really just tabbed. Again, some older tracking systems don't read columns. They only read the first line or the first column. So you don't want tables, you don't want columns or anything like that. However, you do want to make sure that this is easy to read. Now, the problem that I have with the skills that you have here and the way you've got it laid out is that they all run into one another. It makes it, the machine's going to read it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But remember, the machine is just a file cabinet. The machine is used as a way for the humans to put in, here's, I'm looking for X, Y, Z. Can you highlight those in those resumes so that I can see them? Okay. Help me sort the resumes. It's not going to screen you out, but it is my way of helping to sort the resumes to which ones I want to see first.
So how do people put their skills, what format should I put those in? Because you only get 2 pages.
You do only get 2 pages, but remember, it's not everything you've ever done.
Right.
So
No, I know. This is geared, this is always customized for the job description.
But only the job description. It's not anything extra. Okay. So I might say program management would be 1. Tab across. project management, or what's project meeting management?
Yeah. Program and project meeting management.
Don't use compound.
Okay. All right. All right. So you're just using, so my spaces, instead of having those,
Pips, yeah.
yeah, just use the 5 tab, which is like 5 spaces.
So what I would do is even more than that, Laurie. We know that white space on a resume, especially at this point, makes a difference.
Okay.
If you're tabbing it across the page so that it looks as though they are in 3 columns, you've got a lot of white space in between. That's where my eye is immediately going to be directed.
Okay.
So that's the first visual that says, here's what I need, here's what Laurie has. Oh, I want to read more.
Gotcha.
You have 2 to 9 seconds to grab my attention. That skills overview is a great way of doing it.
Okay. So have less skills, but have the skills that they have.
Only those that they're actually looking for.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. And think about it as, if you're concerned about whether or not one should be included, if you were doing a Boolean search, right, adding terms together to try and narrow down the field of resumes to the ones that you want to talk to most, which ones would you be really looking for?
Well, also, I usually have started to run their job descriptions in Chat GPT, and I can ask the question, what are the top 10 skills?
Yes, but one of the problems we have with ChatGPT is, yes, it gives you a good idea, but don't use that as your sole reliance. We find that they are picking up a lot of words that are not the ones that we're really going to be using.
I know, eyes are the best. I wrote business plans for 2 years before Chat GPT was invented. So I still like my eyes and my brain.
Yeah. So what I recommend, Laurie, is, and this is going beyond the scope of what we're supposed to be doing today, but I recommend that you take the job description, you use your highlighter on Word as you're putting it into a file.
Okay.
Highlight what you think is important, and then use those on your overview. You're looking for anywhere in that skill section, Laurie, from 6 to maybe 18 terms.
Okay.
Then the other thing that I notice is that down here at the bottom, you've got your technical summary.
Same thing, yeah.
Not only that, I may never get there. The machine is going to read it. But if some of these things are really important for the new job, they belong up in that skills section. If they are not part of the new job, take them out.
All right.
Okay. Not everybody uses Basecamp. Not everybody even knows what Basecamp is. Okay, as an example.
Okay, so just add those into my skills is like, hey, these are skills, these are tech skills, these are all inclusive.
If they are important for the job.
Gotcha.
Only if they are important for the job. Okay, so where you're looking down here at CRM membership databases, if they say one of these that you're using, that you've used before, include that word. If they're using one that you haven't, just say CRM membership database.
Gotcha. Yeah, because most of these databases in the association world, they're ones I haven't done, but they're the same.
Exactly right. You know one, you can learn another.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Remember I said you have only 2 to 9 seconds to grab my attention. So I'd like to see you, and I know we're going to keep it to 2 pages, okay? But I'd like to see you actually insert another section, either before skills overview or before experience, depending upon the level that you're looking at. And I want you to call that section accomplishments or highlights. I like accomplishments. What would be there would be the 2 to 6 most significant things you've done anywhere in your history that relate to the new job.
Oh, I used to have this and they told me to take it out.
I don't know who told you to take it out. Everybody you talk to, Laurie, is going to give you different information. Okay. But I personally like seeing that.
So it's really taking these bullets that I have down there, but making them shorter and what's in the job description. So you have like membership outreach or new initiative, whatever.
So part of this is a lot of people I'm seeing these days are including this, that labeling of it, which says to me on the other side of the screen, you don't trust me to figure that out. And it's true. Okay. I want it to be easy for me to read, but not everyone sees that as important. I would rather see you say, instead of membership outreach, increase member satisfaction. Start with the lead, increase member satisfaction by 90%. Your bullets should start with the action.
Okay. Okay. So skip my, I just, when they've trained me, it's like, well, just put down your that, and then they'll see that you've had those skills. But you're saying if I put the membership outreach at the top,
You don't need.
do I just include that word and not the action item? I mean,
It depends on what it is. So if you wanted to, yes, membership outreach could go up here if that's one of the skills that they're looking for, one of those keywords. In terms of the bullet here, I would start it with increased.
Right.
If membership outreach is one of their real hot buttons,
right,
then instead of leaving it here under the job, in that accomplishment section, I would say increased member outreach and satisfaction by. If you leave it under the job, Laurie, it gets tied to the job. If you put it in that accomplishment section, especially because it's not tied to the job, my eye goes there immediately, right? It becomes more transferable. You're not tying it to a job. You're not tying it to an industry. More importantly, you're not tying it to a time frame. Okay, which is why I said the 2 to 6 most important ones that you've done anywhere in your history. So we're walking that fine line between specific and generic in that section.
Okay. And so if I did that one, then I wouldn't include it down below.
Underneath the job, correct.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Let me look. So the same kind of thing all the way through. You have too many bullets under some of these older jobs.
Yeah.
So I would cut them down. Now, some of it is going to be easy to do because you're going to add them up to the top. You're going to remove them. But if it's something that you've done over and over again, you don't need to do it every time. Okay. Your education and professional, I wouldn't say education and professional development. I would say education and relevant, okay, training or certifications. And the reason for that is professional development says it's any class I've ever taken. These are important. And by saying the word relevant, you're reminding me that it relates to the new job.
So relevant training and
education and either relevant training or relevant I can even say it, certifications or certificates.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
But professional development is too broad there.
Okay. No, that's good. I like that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. Community activities are great, and I love seeing them. You can call it community activity. You can say community leadership activities. Again, if you have space, I would probably do them on separate lines.
Okay.
Now, I know that we've added some things and we've hopefully taken some things out. Okay. If necessary, for example, when I'm looking at some of these things like the National Association of Realtors, which you may or may not continue in. I don't know that you need it necessarily. Oh, I'm sorry, 2020. I apologize. I thought that said 2000.
No, I was there from 19. I had to put the real years in because they told me, you didn't have any real years in. I had that blank before, but I was there from 1996 to 2020.
So if you wanted to shorten it down, did you have more than one title there?
Well, I had I had a ton of titles. I couldn't put half of them in.
Okay. So a couple of things. One of which is that what I would probably do then is that I would shorten this at a title break. So instead of 96 to 2020, okay, shorten it, say, to the 2010. And then what you can do is you can add another section called Additional Related Experience, National Association of Realtors, Manager Professional Development, no bullets, no dates, and any other title you wanted to include, if it's important for the new job. On the application, you're going to have to include the full date, but here you don't.
So you're saying just include, well, that last job, I was only doing that last job for a year.
Yeah, but I might stop it even here. Okay, I might stop it after, yeah, program manager. Yeah, so even that's fine. Okay, but if there was something that you did prior to 2005, because you said that you started there in 1990.
Yeah, I started there in 1996.
Okay, so it is, if there was a title that was important from there that is not included even here, but it's important for the new job, you can still list that title as part of that experience, that additional related experience. Again, it's just company name and titles. It allows you to refer back to it if you need to.
Okay, so that would be after the manager professional development, or
So I would start, yeah. So after manager of professional development, add another heading,
okay,
additional related experience, National Association of Realtors, okay, whatever the title was,
okay.
if you want to, only if you need to and want to. And you could actually do it, that manager of professional development, unless that's the kind of thing that that job is looking for specifically, I might include that as
Yeah.
part of additional related experience.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, the other thing is that it is difficult, dummy on my side of the desk or the screen, because of your formatting. It almost appears as though these are all individual companies, not just individual job titles. So what I recommend, especially because you have the overarching dates up here, okay, and this is now going to change to 2010, right? But what you do is make use of your formatting, reduce no space in between these jobs, but, and I can't do that, okay, here.
Yeah, I know.
But what I would do would be to highlight those two jobs that we're leaving on, and then use your word tool to move all of that over one tab to the right. By indenting those jobs underneath, it's just moving the formatting over. But what that does is it demonstrates visually that that's all part of the National Association of Realtors.
Oh, so forget the bullets.
No, leave the bullets.
Okay.
Okay. So in Word, okay, you can highlight, okay, whole sections. So I would highlight these two jobs and all their bullets.
Okay.
And then there is a tool at the top of your formatting screen on the main page that allows you to shift everything there just slightly to the right. It keeps your formatting. It just indents that whole section to the right.
Oh,
Okay.
you mean to the right or to the left?
I want you to move this all over to the right.
So are you trying to justify it?
No, I'm not justifying it. Next to where it says justifying is where it sits on, how it sits on this, the line itself. What this
Yeah.
is, in effect, Lori, okay,
You're just indenting it.
you're indenting this whole section.
Yeah.
Okay, so it keeps this original formatting, but it just moves everything over just a little bit. So instead of starting, okay, the title starting here, the title would actually start here.
Okay. Okay. All right. And yeah, the only I mean, I had to just follow all the other titles, but you're saying just move it over.
Right. And the reason for that is that you want them to see that you had growth with the National Association of Realtors.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got your total dates here, the rest of it is fine. Okay. But
Okay,
also
so
by not only indenting it, but by you can keep in the space if you want to in between those jobs, it's not necessary.
okay. Okay, gotcha. So it's just
Yeah.
all under, okay, indented over. I gotcha. So it's kind of like you're moving program manager actually to where the bullets are, kind of. Yeah.
Correct.
All
Okay.
right, gotcha.
The goal, Lori, is to make sure that what we're trying to do is quickly get the attention of the person who's reading it. Remember, everything is formatted for them, not for you. Everything you put in there is for them, not for you.
Oh yeah, no, and I do know that after doing so many different job applications and yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so I hope that this was a useful.
It was perfect. No, thank you. You gave me a lot of great new ideas and some ideas, just spinning my stuff back around. I really appreciate everything you've done for us, and your lunch and learns are awesome. And
Thank
I'm
you.
always trying to promote them on the website, and it's been really, really great working, with your sessions. And I'm very grateful for this session, Linda. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So tell Lori, how if somebody wants to get a hold of you, okay, how can they do that?
Via Laurie Oken at gmail.com or my LinkedIn, which is also just Laurie, Laurie Oken, Oken. Just Google on LinkedIn.
Perfect. Okay.
So everything is just Laurie Oken.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And you can also include that in the comments on the video if you like, so that people can find you easily.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you
Lori.
so much, Linda. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.